Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Sunday morning, the 30th of June. In this video, we're sticking with the Jay Slater case today, the disappearance of the 19-year-old man from Oswaldtwistle in the great county of Lancashire, where I live. He was over on the Spanish island of Tenerife for a 3-day music festival, and early on the Monday morning, he got into trouble and he's just disappeared. You know the story if you've been following the case. So on Friday, the Spanish cops, they announced that they were doing a large-scale, massive search on Saturday, so yesterday as I record this. And they wanted volunteers who had expertise or experience in mountain hiking to join them. Now, Paul Arnott, who is a TikToker called Down the Rapids, he's been there now for about 9 days, I think. Following him on TikTok, he does multiple updates every day, and he's been out there really hard searching, going to all of the places where the drones can't see, the dogs can't get to, and he believes just hasn't been searched. There's lots of those places. It's arduous in some of those areas. So he was there and he TikToked about how disappointed he was about the turnout, because although it looked like there was a lot of people there, it was actually only about 5 or 6 of them were actual volunteers. The rest were press and belonged to law enforcement or the fire service.
And annoyed about what's actually happened. I thought today was going to be so productive. I thought so many people were going to show up. I thought it was going to be really organised. I thought it was going to be, get out, not start the search when the blooming hottest point of the day is. I just thought it was going to be massive, and it's not. So I've just found someone who is staying near me, and they're grabbing some breakfast, and then they're going to meet me up here. I'm just going to get started now. But just an absolute madness, guys. Absolute madness. I feel like, I don't know, I wish we could start like maybe a GoFundMe or something and just fly a team of search and rescue people from Scotland out. I need to contact Scottish Mountain Rescue, really. Maybe Monday I can contact Scottish Mountain Rescue and see if we can have a chat about things. But at the moment, this is ridiculous. This is mad.
But they did search, there was a search. But what we're going to talk about is the press conference, the first one that the Spanish cops have held. And they did that yesterday for the cameras. It's interesting that it's the first one they've done, and it comes just a couple of days after the media personality, Mark Williams-Thomas, did an impromptu press conference. So I find the timing interesting. Just got some breaking news. Jay Slater search in Tenerife called off as police give up on finding teen. Whoa. All right, we'll get to that. So, wow, that's shocking. But anyway, we'll get to that. If you can hear lots of noise in the background, right, I'm with a bunch of dogs and they're not behaving. Not my dogs. My dogs behave. I've got a boxer, a Whistler, and a golden doodle. Okay, so, yeah. All right, now, I'm going to talk through what they said at this press conference. And it was in Spanish, but the Manchester Evening News, allegedly, so they say, have translated every word. Spanish police have held their first press conference since Jay Slater went missing in Tenerife on the 13th day of the search, so he went missing on the 17th of June. The Civil Guard gave the new statement as it geared up for a full day of searching in a renewed effort to find the missing 19-year-old from Lancashire. Today, June 29th, marks the beginning of a new massive search for Jay after the Civil Guard sent out a call to urge all emergency services and experienced hikers and mountaineers to join the police as they hunt for Jay. During the press conference at Mirador La Cruz de Hilda, one of the focal points for the search, the Civil Guard spoke of the difficulties officers have faced while trying to find Jay. We know to a certain science that he was here because the coverage of his phone is undeniable that he was around this point. So it's here. It's like a parking area, lookout point. It's in a part way up the mountain. Imagine it's stunning to see it. But that's where they were. And the focus of the search initially was down here, up here, along this area. Because you could tell where the dogs were. You could see them kind of over here. But in recent days, they've been focusing on these kind of like ravines along here. But his phone pinged in this area. Now, Paul Arnott down the rapids has been speaking to someone called Isla. And I'll play you a couple of Isla's TikToks as well. And she has a camera crew, and they've worked out just how inaccurate the phone ping would be in that area. Phone pings are incredibly inaccurate when they are in a rural area where there's only like one cell tower, so that you can't do any kind of triangulation or anything like that. So it could be out by miles, quite frankly. After speaking to Isla down the rapids, Paul has decided to search in a different area, like closer to Masca. This is where the Airbnb is, and it looks like he's kind of around this area, looking at his TikToks.
Now, everybody has been saying up here, this is where Jay's phone last pinged from. However, guys, however, this is not accurate at all. Yesterday I was with Isla and her cameraman, and the cameraman tested out the signal point. So there's a way they use their cameras. They have about 8 different SIM cards in them, so they can send all the images back to the studio. And we worked out how inaccurate this signal tower actually is. Not only this, I was speaking to Brad, and it's the fact, guys, that Jay, after he sent the original Snapchats, he was actually sending Snapchats of him sliding down, potentially up here by the lay-by. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this lay-by, and I'm going to scour this whole area. I'm going to start tracking, guys. I've been tracking for a few days. So I'm going to go up there. I'm going to look at any breakages in the plant material. Not only that, I'm going to look for footprints. Now, no one else is searching up here, guys. I'm going to say it exactly how it is. No one is searching that area. So I'm going to spend the next 2-3 days, however long it takes, even if it takes me a week, guys. And that is what I am doing. Now, I just want to say Jay's family is absolutely amazing. They have spoiled me so bad. They've got me so many clothes, so much food, like drinks, absolutely everything, guys. I couldn't have asked for anything more. I'm sure he's going to be around here. From speaking with the family and the family friends, and looking at the Snapchats, talking with Isla, talking with everyone, guys, pretty sure he would have come down here. Pretty certain he was sliding down here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start searching this area as much as possible. Super slidey, super dangerous, guys. I'm going to do my best with this, and then I'm going to move up to the next part. However, I won't be able to move up for a few days. This is a huge area, super steep. I am actually potentially thinking I'm going to see how this goes right now, but potentially just to lower myself down, I may actually need to get a rope and set up a little anchor system on here, and just lower myself down, guys. I'm not too sure. I'm going to see how it goes now, but this is the area that I am focusing on. This is the area, if Jay is here in the mountains and he's not somewhere else, this is where I believe, and many other people believe, he is going to be. Now the police are all the way up there, they're doing their thing, which is absolutely great. I'm concentrating on here, guys.
If you line it up like there, so down here, but frankly, could be anywhere in this area. So we know for certain science it was here because the coverage of his phone, it's undeniable that he was around this point. And it's where we have difficulties, because once you turn off your phone, it can no longer be traced, or if it loses battery. So while he was walking, and we don't know how long he could have walked for with his phone switched off, no antenna is going to pick that up. And the technology we have, it traces phones, but not people. We have certain clues, and we have to stick to those. Of the 2 men who were with Jay at the Airbnb before his disappearance, the civil guard said Investigators have already spoken to the men and it didn't have any point of relevance to the case. Speaking at the beginning of the search in the first press conference, Cipriano Martin, chief of the mountain rescue team of the Guardia Civil, said, "The plan will consist of carrying out a search with the people that have gathered here today, a thorough search, because at the stage we're at, we need to start ruling areas out. We need to be sure that the area we're searching, even though you may have already done a lot of work in the last few days, is looked at really thoroughly and then can be ruled out. It's going to be obviously based off of the evidence that we have, and the evidence that we have is his last position, the conversations he had that last day before he disappeared, and we will centre the search around that area. Is the Civil Guard keeping an open mind? Yes. While we still don't know, we're not going to posit any theories. Various lines of inquiry are being worked on. How many square kilometres are being searched? We've searched the Masca area, the Barranco de San Lopez area, and the Barranco Remota, and Bianco de la Ares, and Barranco Carrizales. These are all these ravines here. Like they've all got their own names. So these down here. So all of those, they've been searched, but it's so arduous. If you go and watch down the rapids, and it's honestly so difficult to search.
I'm just going to show you an example of the terrain Jay has possibly come through. There's definitely footsteps down here, 100%. There's no question about that. They're walking footsteps. They're not really sliding footsteps. So I'm trying to identify sliding footprints because I know Jay was sliding. But this is potentially what Jay could have slid down into, all this sort of material. So now you can understand why dogs can't come into this area, why drones are going to be no use, and why, unless people are actually going to get in here, guys, it's not going to be much use either. So that's why I'm now scouring this area. I'm getting into all of this. I'm going to find someone who's got some tweezers later, because I'm about to get covered in 1,000 pricks. But it is what it is, guys. I just want to show you. Very, very rocky. So these are the bits he could have come down to. Then he could have perhaps come to an area like this and thought, oh no, how am I going to get through this? And just try to head through it, guys. So right now, this is our best bet. This is our best bet. But just to show you guys, right, I'm going to crack on with the search and I'll catch up with you all later.
And the main clue is the last GPS point from his phone. Effectively, yes. And we can't start coming up with conspiracy theories either. The investigation is being based off of proof we have. And we know for certain that he started from walking down to the bottom of the ravine. Effectively, yes. Another thing that leads us to that conclusion is that when he was on the phone to Lucy, he got caught by a cactus and he was worried that it might be poisonous. She said, don't worry, it won't be poisonous. But for that, he had to have left the main road. If you're walking along the main road, you wouldn't get pricked by a cactus. Absolutely. But there's a lot of road and there's a lot of cacti. So he could have gone off the road pretty much anywhere. There aren't many people here to search such a big area. One reporter questioned that there was only a handful of volunteers and small groups of emergency service workers. The Civil Guard replied, we've already spent days searching. The search we're going to do today is going to be around 30 people. The morning he disappeared, is there anyone that can localise him, anyone that saw him according to your investigations? Around 8 in the morning, that morning he was seen at this point, or very near this point, going up to El Mirador. And later, his phone locates him as being around here. So that was Ophelia, the cafe owner.
After 7:30 on the 17th of June, that Jay Slater was standing on these steps and he took a photo for his Snapchat, and you can see the pattern of the steps here. He then goes to the bus stop. It's just here. So he's then standing at this bus stop. Then he meets the owner who I've just spoken to, the owner of the restaurant and the Airbnb. And he asks her, when's the next bus? She indicates this, which means 10 o'clock, so he had a 2-hour wait. And instead of going down this way, which would have been the way back to Los Cristianos, although a very long walk, he walks up the hill. She explained to me he was walking at a good pace, and she then passed him in the car about 15 minutes later, further up this hill. I'm just retracing Jay's steps that he took that morning. So the owner of the Airbnb said she passed him about 15 minutes after she saw him at the bus stop. So I'm going to follow that for about 50 minutes and see how far I get. So you can see the road is just there, and if you're a young lad wanting a shortcut, you're hungover, you want to get back to your friends, it is conceivable that you could come off the road and try and cut up. Now this looks a bit crazy. However, there is sneaky little paths all along the mountainside such as this. Now I've just tried clambering up. It's not easy, it's slidey. It's easier to go up than it is to go down. But this is really, really dense bush, cacti. He could easily end up falling and being hidden somewhere very close by.
And later on the location that he shared also puts him here. He shared his location with Brad. We're going to widen the zones that we've already searched, but taking advantage of this time, of the fact we have more people and we can do a more thorough search. So we're going to widen these zones. We have drones as well, but in principle, we will do a search where each person searching is in view of the next person searching. That way, nothing can get overlooked between them. We will be able to see more than a drone. Although a drone is able to give you an aerial view, we will be able to see everything around us on the ground. Each person will be able to see the next person searching, so there won't be any area of ground that's not been swept. Are there areas that are complex to search? Yes. And the situation that we're in, no one should put themselves at risk more than the normal. But there's also a very important factor, the places we can't get to. Jay wouldn't have been able to get to either. Well, yeah, but what if he fell off something? Like down the rapids was showing like just sheer drops. So, yeah, you can't get there by walking there if you don't have ropes and climbing stuff. But you could fall. You could fall down there. We have to think logically. If I see there are cactuses and brambles ahead and I can't get through or I get scratched, he wouldn't have gone that way either. You have to follow logic. This area you're searching, does it go to the sea? Can you get straight to the coast? Yes, you can get to the sea. In fact, last Saturday, I, myself and some others did the walk that takes you through the Juan Lopez ravine. There are old paths there that get used very occasionally because it has little appeal to walkers, but you can get to the beach that way. In yesterday's video, I showed some reviews of that very trail, and it's very, very difficult. Easy to get lost, easy to walk off the path, very easy. But you can get to the beach that way. I got to the beach that way. We didn't see anything, but it's a route that can be done. Not along the bottom of the gully, that way is very impractical. Big areas parts that stick out and you would need rope to get down there. So for that reason, we know that he wouldn't have done that because he didn't have the equipment for it. Yeah, but he could have fallen. And also, what if he got to the beach? What if he did? What if he did get to the beach? Look at these cliffs. Like, there's only certain places where you have to know. I mean, where's the beach? Where's the beach? The sea must have been in. The tide must have been in here on this image. But what if he got to the beach and fell in the sea? How do we know that he's not in the sea? When we talk about difficult areas, how difficult are we talking? There are rocky outcrops that are impassable, and you can only pass with a harness and ropes. I think that the people doing the search today will turn back at these points because they aren't carrying the equipment for that, only for walking. Which in any case is the most that Jay could have done, just walk. His family that are in Tenerife now, are they participating in the search? Every day they have been taking part. We have found them here every day. They have been actively participating. Okay, I had to pause there because I was going to say something rude to the people who think that the family are just there on holiday. The two Englishmen, when did he and when will you talk with them? The part of the investigators on the case, which isn't us, we are in charge of actually doing the search on the mountain. They are the ones in charge of doing the investigation. We have already spoken to the men and didn't have any point of relevance to the case. That brings the press conference to an end. When it first expanded, the search then involved a number of forest trails and tracks within the Buena Vista del Norte municipality. In Saturday morning's announcement, the Civil Guard called for the collaboration of all volunteer associations, including civil protection, firefighters, and even private volunteers who are experts in the field of search. In a tragic update on Thursday, police searching for the teen said it was very unlikely Jay will be found alive. A well-placed source from the Civil Guard said no one at the moment is talking about the search being brought to an end, even though it's very unlikely Jay has survived if he got lost in the mountains. Well, this brings us to this breaking news. Confirmation of the dramatic development came less than 24 hours after a last push operation. Police have brought an end to their search near the mountain village of Masca for missing Jay Slater. Police have, however, said the case remains open, awaiting any further information that may lead to finding Jay. The civil guard today said the fortnight-long search, which has involved sniffer dogs, a helicopter and mountain rescue experts, has been brought to an end. They said officers will continue to act on any tip-offs or other information that came in, but the active work that has been ongoing since June 17th would now cease. Wow. The spokeswoman said today, the search operation is now finished, although the case remains open. A well-placed source said the daily operation, which has been going on in and around Masca, close to where Jay was last seen, been brought to an end. Any information comes and merits a new search, it will be acted upon. That is so sad. That is so sad. It was obvious that they had to stop at some time. Of course, they had to stop at some time, and it did feel like yesterday was that last-ditched effort. Okay, where do we go from here? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.